What is up, people? Matt here. So my last one of the last top 10s I did based on Bleach was my top 10 favourite captains, and I haven't really done a Bleach related video in quite a while, so I thought, why don't I kind of do a kind of follow on from my top 10 favourite captains in Bleach. So this video is going to be my top 10 favourite lieutenants in Bleach. Now, as I said in my Bleach captain video, I'm not ranking these based on their power or anything like that. I'm ranking them based on, you know, my favourites, who I prefer in order. So let's get straight on with it. So number 10 is Kaien Shiba. Ironically, he's pretty much he is the only captain he's the only lieutenant on this list, rather, who is dead now. So Kaien Shiba was kind of the mentor of Rukia, obviously the older brother of Kokaku and Ganju Shiba. He was formerly the lieutenant of 13th Squad under Ukitake. Yeah, he was married. He had his wife got possessed by a hollow, and then she died, and then he got possessed by a hollow, and then Rukia kind of killed him, but she didn't really have a choice. He's kind of like an honourable mention, even though he's on my 10th spot, because we didn't get to know a lot about him really, and we didn't even know anything about him. We only got to know stuff about him from Rukia really, and we didn't even get to know any of his powers until Rangiku kind of took on his form and kind of used all his powers. I mean, his Shikai is called, I'm probably gonna, Nejibana, so that's his Shikai. He doesn't have a Bonkai, obviously. His Zanpakuto is kind of like a trident, or at least that's how Rangiku had it. He's also related to Ichigo and Ishin, and you know, he's related to the Kurosaki family, although the Kurosaki family is technically the Shiba family, but they took on Masaki's name. I'm not quite sure how they're related. I know Ishin's Kokaku's uncle, so I guess Ishin is also, or was, Kaien's uncle, so you know, that's all kind of weird. But yeah, Kaien is my 10th favourite lieutenant, or former lieutenant at least. So number 10, Tetsuzaemon Iba. Pretty much not a lot's known about Tetsuzaemon. He's the lieutenant of the 7th Squad under Kamamura. We don't know anything about his Zanpakuto at all. We don't know his Shikai. He doesn't have a Bonkai, but we just pretty much don't know anything about him really. I just put him on the list because a lot of the other lieutenants I don't like even more than Tetsuzaemon, even though we pretty much know nothing about him. But there you go, there you have it. So number 9, Shuhei Hisagi. Obviously he's the 9th lieutenant, or the lieutenant in the 9th Squad. Currently, well, he was under Kesai, but he's dead now, so he's kind of not got a captain anymore again, after he was obviously under Tosen as well. But there you go. His Shikai, or his Zanpakuto's Kazashini. Shuhei is a bit of a weird one because I'm not a fan of him, but I like him as a person in the show. I mean, you don't really know a lot about him either, to be honest. There's a bit of information you had when they went back in time. Obviously Kesei saved him when he was a kid, so I mean that's interesting. But other than that, you don't really know a lot about Shuhei. But you know, he's an alright guy on the show. I quite like him. So number 7, we got Rangiku Matsumoto. So obviously Rangiku is the lieutenant of the 10th Squad, currently under Toshiro Hitsugaya, formerly lieutenant to Ishin Kurosaki, obviously, or Ishin Shiba, as he would have been known back then. Zanpakuto's Hinako. or Shikai is anyway, but that is her Zanpakuto. Rangiku is a bit of a weird one. I'm not sure if this is right, but I think she might be the oldest lieutenant other than Chojiro. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure she is one of the oldest lieutenants. Yeah, not. She's quite. I quite like her, but at the same time, I'm not a big fan of Toshiro. So at the same time, it's kind of like she normally only appears when Toshiro's there, so I don't really care. But I do like how she interacts with the other lieutenants, and she's got a bit of a lazy personality, which is quite funny. But yeah, she's an alright lieutenant, I guess, but obviously not one of my favourites because she's higher up on the list. Number 6, Isane, Kotetsu. So Isane, I quite like Isane actually, even though I've put her, kind of midpoint, near enough. Obviously, she's the lieutenant of the 4th squad, which is kind of like the medical squad. Previously lieutenant to Retsu Unohana. Obviously, Retsu Unohana's dead now, so she's in charge of the 4th squad, I imagine. Her Zanpakuto's called Ite Gumo, I think. I think that's how you pronounce it. I quite like her as a character, although she's one of those characters I felt has been more neglected, and they've not really paid attention to her a whole lot, which is a shame. But I guess they can't give everyone equal time because it just wouldn't work out. But I really do like Isane. If like some of the other characters weren't really there, Isane would probably be like a lot higher up on the list. Number 5 is Rukia Kuchiki. Now, some people will be going mental how I've put Rukia only at midpoint. I'm not a huge fan of Rukia, to be honest. A lot of people will think that's absolutely ridiculous, but I'm just not really a fan of her. So obviously she's the adopted sister of Byakuya. Sister was the name escapes me now, but I'll probably remember it in a minute. It's like it's Hisane. It's Hisane. I think Hisane Kuchiki. She was only kind of recently a lieutenant. Before the time skip, she obviously wasn't a lieutenant. She's obviously currently lieutenant of 13th squad under Ukitake. Her Zanpakuto's Sodi no Shirayuki. Ice Zanpakuto, apparently one of the most beautiful Zanpakuto in the Soul Society or something like that. One of the few lieutenants that actually has Bonkai. Bonkei's Hakano Tagayami or something like that. She kind of turns into a like ice queen form or whatever. I haven't read the manga, but I know that's what happens. But apparently it's not that great a Bonkai because apparently it like hurts her as well, which is kind of silly, but I guess that happens. So Rukia, I don't mind her, but not a favourite of mine. Number 4, Momo Hinamori. So Momo is obviously the lieutenant of the 5th squad. Previously was under Sosuke Aizen, and at the moment under Shinji Hiraku. I quite like Momo, although I know a lot of people are like, oh, she's absolutely useless. She's like a damsel in distress out of everyone else. I think that's not really fair because, I mean, if you idolise someone for years, and I suppose she saw Aizen as a father figure, and then he ends up being a bad guy and betrays everybody, and then actually stabs you and almost kills you, I guess that would kind of bum you out a bit. So I don't particularly blame her for kind of being a bit, distressed and a bit out of sorts. Her Zanpakuto's Tobi Ime. It shoots kind of fireballs. Yeah, I really like Momo compared to a lot of the lieutenants. I know some people wouldn't even like put Momo on that list. I think that's not really fair. She has a bit of a weird relationship with Toshiro because she's older than Toshiro, but Toshiro's a captain. Yeah, I don't get how that works, but Momo was one of like Momo is sort of like in a group because she's kind of in a group with Izuru, Renji, and all that lot, and so she's kind of in one with that group sort of. So she came to with them at the same sort of time period. But yeah, I really like Momo. Number three, Yachiru. Kusajishi, I think that's how you pronounce her second name. I've not really said that ever before. Apparently she got her name from Kenpachi, who named her after Retsuru Nahana's original name. Obviously she's the lieutenant of 11th Squad, which is the combat squad under Kenpachi. I'm not sure if this is true, but it probably is. I think she might be the youngest lieutenant. It's either her. Yeah, I think it is actually her. So she's probably the youngest lieutenant, I imagine. Her Shikai or Zanpakuto Sampo Kenju. At the moment, she's like disappeared for some reason after Kenpachi had his fight with Grammy. Apparently, she just upped and disappeared. Nobody knows where she is, and apparently, like nothing's been like mentioned. No, nothing's mentioned her in like a long time. Apparently, so people are wondering if she's actually Kenpachi's Zanpakuto. It's totally possible, but who knows? She could be anywhere for any reason. You just don't know. But I actually quite like Yachiru. As I said, she's got a kind of father-daughter kind of relationship with Kenpachi. Although she plays about a bit, I imagine she's actually quite strong in terms of fighting. She's definitely quite fast, and apparently like she can move without anyone detecting her, which is quite strange. Number two, Izuru Kira. Izuru's pretty much one of my favourite lieutenants, or one of my favourite characters in Bleach, period. A lot of people aren't particularly bothered with Izuru, but I actually quite like him. He's the lieutenant of 3rd Squad, previously under Gin, and then he was under Shuhei, and then he was under Rose. All of them are dead. I'm pretty sure he's like one of the. I'm pretty sure 3rd Squad must be one of the unluckiest squads because they've lost 3 captains throughout the whole time. His Zanpakuto is Wabisuke, which is a pretty cool Zanpakuto because when he strikes somebody, like weight triples and doubles and all that business, and he eventually just makes it so they can't even move, which is pretty beastly. Izuru, I feel, should I feel like they should make him more powerful, and I think he should actually just become the captain of 3rd Squad because they've lost so many captains. I feel that he should have just taken over. His fate currently is unknown because the last time people saw him, like apparently half his left body got blown out, and that was like it. You didn't see him after that, so everyone's like, is he dead or is he alive? They haven't said he's dead, so he probably is alive, but obviously, I mean, if you get half your body blown out, you're not going to be up and walking about again for quite a while. But Izuru is one of my favourite lieutenants. So number one is probably the most obvious one, and I think probably most people's favourites. I'm talking about none other than Renji Ibarai, captain of 6th Squad. Oh, not captain, he's the lieutenant. Everyone wishes he was the captain, but he's not. He's the lieutenant of 6th Squad. Another one of the few lieutenants that has Bankai right now. He had Bankai way before Rukia did, so that's why everyone's like, why isn't he a captain yet? Obviously, Zanpakuto Zabimaru. Apparently, his Bankai is called So Zabimaru, although for some reason, a lot of the time you hear him say he heals Zabimaru, so, I don't know if it's so or heal. I just don't know. But Renji is, he's my favourite lieutenant. Ironically, like when I first started watching Bleach, the first time you meet him with Byakuya, and he's a bit of a dick. I really didn't like him. I thought he was going to be generally going to be like a villain in the like anime, and I thought he was going to be a real arsehole. And then pretty much after that, I liked him just like that. I mean, he went from being like, oh, this guy's a dick, to, oh, he's one of my favourite characters in the show, which is kind of weird, but I do really like Renji. I am one of the people that thinks he should be a captain. Will he ever become a captain? He probably might become a captain if he ends up surviving all this 1,000-year war stuff, because they've lost quite a few captains already, so they need to fill the positions really. What squad do I think he could take over on? I don't think he'd be in 4th squad. I think Isane would end up taking over 4th squad, and I think Izuru will end up taking over 3rd squad. So I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, he'll take over like 5th squad. I know, because Shinji's 5th squad, isn't he? So I really don't know. I think he'll take over some squad. It might be 8th squad, because I know that they don't have a captain at the moment, or a lieutenant, because Now and Kyaku obviously went to 1st squad after Kyaku became head captain, so 8th squad's pretty much barren. So I think they definitely need to put at least a captain or a lieutenant in that squad. I think Renji could probably take over as captain, and then they could put like a lieutenant, with him. I think that's how they probably could do it. But yeah, those were my favourite top 10 lieutenants. Obviously my list is a lot different to other people's lists. Everyone has different lists, but those were my top 10. I don't think it will ever change really. I mean, I like Renji and I like Izuru. They could probably fight for either position, but I pretty much prefer Renji, but that's pretty much my list, guys. So as always, thank you for watching my video, and I will definitely see you on the next one. Bye now.